So the other day, I was kind of having a rough day. Nothing in particular, but some days are just not as good as others. And some days you're just feeling a little lower mentally, and that's okay. But it did make me reflect on a couple things. The first thing I thought about is that not every day is going to be good, but there's good in every day. And that just is saying, change your perspective up a little bit, if all you do is think negatively about your life, about your situation, well, the world's going to reflect that. But if you were to input some positivity into your life and into who you are, it truly does make it easier to see that in the world. And I think that in life, it really comes from you at the bottom of your heart and who you are. If you decide to input positivity, if you decide to be positive, well, it's going to be much easier to keep building momentum. I saw this great quote one time, and it was talking about, in life you have the option to either feel good or bad about things. So why on earth would you choose to feel anything but good? And that really brought me back to perspective and to thoughts and to realizing that I'm not my thoughts. I'm just me. I'm experiencing my thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. They come and go, and there's some negative ones, there's some positive ones. But you're watching them as they unfold and observing them and not judging them. Because most of the time, it's trying to tell you something. And it's trying to communicate with you. And so you can push. So one thing I did when I was having that bad day was I sat down and I wrote. Now, in the moment, I don't think it necessarily helped me. I tried to write about what I was feeling, about why it made me feel this way, and just being vulnerable with myself. And that really did help. And it helps today as well, for some reason. I just feel proud of myself that, hey, I was able to put it to paper and to navigate through it. And instead of resorting to negative thoughts or habits, anything, that I truly sat there with them and analyzed them. And in this life, I think that's important that we take a second to think about who we are and what we're doing and our thoughts and our emotions. And just being there for yourself. It's asking for a hand up, not a hand out. We're not perfect. There's gonna be days where it's just... And I talk about that a lot, but it's just the reality of life. But it's about how you respond. It always has been, and it always will be, about the steps that you're taking now towards becoming better. And in that, I think that you can find stillness. And I think you can find moments of just taking a big exhale and realizing that you need to take things one at a time, one thing at a time. It's not overwhelming yourself with all the big picture things. Yes, we got to think about those things. Yes, we got to continue to contribute to those things. But what can you do right now to cross one thing off that list, to not overwhelm yourself, to keep pushing, to build momentum? You check one thing off that list, bang. You check two things off that list, now you're going. You keep doing that every single day, every single moment, doing little things for yourself, little mental wins, little physical wins, little spiritual wins, whatever it may be. You work on your business, you work on your career, you work on your physical health. It's all these things that you can continue to do, and you do it little by little. And I promise you, those days stack up. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in other people. There's no way of going around it. You have to do the work. So you have to show up for yourself. And if that means being sad, but then writing it down and getting back to work, there's so much beauty in that. And I think I'm finally able to do that. And I'm able to admit, hey, I have bad days. But the beauty is in continuing. The beauty is in finding your why and striving to do more every single day. Not giving up. It's falling down and getting up every time. It's never giving up and proving to yourself that you're capable because you do it time and time again and again. And you do that, you stack little wins. You're undefeated right now. You know, you may have been knocked down, but you're not going to stay down. You're going to keep trying. You're going to keep being there for yourself. And that's that. You know, be social. And be vulnerable with yourself. You know, having a stiff upper lip is one thing, but you can't lie to yourself. And there is no fake it till you make it when it comes to your self-talk. Allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling and use it in a positive way. Use it as fuel, as motivation. We can all do that. But it takes right now. It takes the first step. You know, the first step always reveals the second one. You gotta just go. And once you get going, it's easier to keep going. So get going. I've really been enjoying making these videos because it's really been helping me practice my talking and my reflecting. And whenever I talk in front of this camera, it just brings me back to the core roots of who I am. And it reminds me, hey, one day at a time. Maybe if someone's watching this right now, they can think the same things to themselves. And that's what it's all about. So if you're watching right now, continue fighting. You're cared for, you're loved for. You know, tell someone you love them. Reach out. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. We're only here for so long. How do you want to leave this place? Do you want to leave it knowing you could have done more, knowing that you could have loved more? Or do you want to leave it knowing you did everything you could? So love, be kind, keep fighting, keep going for you, for everyone else who believes in you. Be strong. That's it.